This podcast contains potentially adult language, adult themes, definitely drinking, and possibly sexual context. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to Drinking with Authors, the Literary Briefs edition. I'm your host, Erica Lance. My co-host today, fighting with her dog, is C.R. Rice. She's amazing, but she is fighting with her dog right now. And our amazing guest is Joyce A. Miller. Okay, let's talk about what we're drinking because I'm going to do this again. Okay. Our sponsor today is Skunk Brothers Spirits, DWA10 is the coupon code. Check them out, skunkbrotherspirits.com. Amazing distillery in Washington. But we have another sponsor that's coming in soon. Not exactly soon where, but I'm just showing off my glass from them, but I'm not going to mention them until they actually have it. But they may be creating the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse brews.
Ooh, four new ones.
One
is actually perhaps is in a fermenter.
Perhaps. We just got to get them bottled and labels. There's the whole thing. Yes. Anyway, super exciting. Okay, I just glazed over what I was drinking and was excited about the glass instead of, go ahead, drink along. Anything apparently will do currently for me. No, I am drinking Angry Orchard Hard Cider Unfiltered because it's not as sweet as the other ones. And, it has less calories. Mm-hmm. Actually, it only has 15 grams of carbs. That is not so bad much. For a cider.
So much.
What?
That is so high.
Not for a cider. The other ones
I
are
know,
like 60
but just
grams.
in general, you're not actually.
I'm sorry. I'd like you to repeat what you're drinking right now, and we can talk about carbs.
Okay. Boom, dude. I use low sugar or no sugar. My stuff is all rigged to maximize taste without any calories. So I am doing homemade lemonade, which I actually legitimately made by myself. Squished up some raspberries in there. And then I did a lot of vodka in it because it just adds that little tang that you need. And it's amazing. I feel like it's going to be a Four Horsemen drink. I don't know which one, but I feel like
it should be a Four Horsemen drink.
I was thinking war because it looks very... We don't have war. Remember, I did that really weird.
You did a horrible war drink. I think you should use that as war. Because it's got the strawberries, which is going to make it look bloody. So
yes.
I mean raspberries.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, we are so on a tangent already. I've only had a couple ciders. Joyce, your husband gave you a bottle of wine. What are we drinking?
They gave me a bottle of wine, which is Rivers Marie Pinot Noir 2020, which he actually has to be on their mailing list to get this wine. They only bottle so much of it. And then they say, we bottled this many bottles. How many do you want? And he can have, 2 or 4 or 6. He can't have much more than that. And so he buys it and he keeps it in a case and I'm not allowed to touch it. And I have to get it every once in a while.
Wow, but this was an occasion worthy of him coughing up a bottle of wine.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
Wow. I'm going to cheers to that shit because, man,
cheers.
Podcast worthy of an epic bottle of wine.
Epic bottle of wine.
Okay, rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, I wonder, did you write a note down of your questions or no, you were good? Okay, somebody said they wrote a note one time. Do you remember when somebody was like, I wrote down the question?
They went through one of the podcasts and wrote down the questions so that they could prepare their answers, but then we asked none of those questions.
You asked all different ones.
Yeah, don't tell us that you wrote down the questions because we're going to just ask different questions.
Just ask away.
Okay, what is your favorite book of all time?
My favorite book, I'm going to say, is from when I was a little kid, which was when my love of writing started, and it was The Little House on the Prairie.
That's a good book.
I did not like that book.
All of them. I loved them all. I couldn't wait to go to the library and get the next one. And yeah.
CR, did you read Nancy Drew? Like I read all the Nancy Drews, the Hardy Boys.
No.
So I was the Judy B. Jones generation when I was in kindergarten. Like that's what I was reading. And then I went to Nancy Drew and I read the Hardy Boys and I did all of those. Little House on the Prairie was so dry for me.
I wanted to be her. I wanted to go out on the prairie and live in a log cabin, and now I live in a city.
And then you actually go stay in a log cabin like she did, and you're like, this is a terrible plan. I don't want to do this.
Why did I ever think I wanted?
Yeah, like this is very over glamorized in the book.
You get a scratch and you die. Like, what is appealing about that? Like, really. I don't understand that. That is just, it's never been my thing. But it was so dry for me. But I did try to read it when I was like 8, 9 years old, and it was, and I never went back.
Okay.
Well, it's a good thing this is not your question then.
It is.
So what is your least favorite book? What is a book that you were like, this is not good? This is not good.
Well, when I retired and moved to Richmond, where I live now in the city, I joined a book club, and they read all different genres, and they try to broaden our horizons, and we discuss. And last year they picked this book. What was it called? I think Hidden Valley Road, I think it was called. It was nonfiction. It was about this military family, and they had 12 kids and 10 boys, 2 girls. 6 of the boys developed schizophrenia, and they knew that, and they kept having kids. And then one of the boys assaulted one of the girls, and the parents thought, the girl was making it up, or, I hated that book. I hated it.
It sounds like a terrible, terrible book.
And it was like on some bestseller lists and stuff. And
yeah, but you can buy your way onto those.
You actually literally have to buy your way onto the New York Times bestseller list. People don't know that, but you have to do all this paid stuff to get on a New York Times bestseller list. It's not based on how many copies of a book you sell.
Or if people like it.
Yeah.
Oh.
I say that only because there's so many self-published, especially I'm going to say romance writers and stuff, that have sold way more than some of the people that are on the New York Times best-selling list, but they don't put themselves through that thing. That's a whole other tangent. I'm not going to use your podcast.
But it's just like the Oscars and the Grammys and like the movies and stuff that always win. You've never fucking heard of the movies. It's the same damn thing. Like,
well, again, you have to nominate yourself for an award. They don't just go, wow, let's look at all the movies that come out, review them, and pick the people we thought were awesome.
No.
You have to put your name in the hat. If you don't have the money to put your name in the hat, your name is not going in the hat. And that's why you have all these independent films that have some of the most brilliant acting
and writing and
that never go. And then don't get me started about the fact that comedy actors can never go up for best actor, but I think some of the hardest work is comedy actors. We can go on a tangent. We're not going to do that on Joyce's podcast.
Okay.
Because I could go on a tangent.
Just saying,
we'll do a side cast.
Some people in the book club liked that book, and I was like, anyway.
Well, you hit a nail on the head, though. It's not everybody's going to like every single book. Like, you wrote a book about a baseball player.
Yeah.
Some people can get into it from a biography standpoint. Like, I personally love biographies, for instance, right? Mm-hmm. So regardless of what the person's doing, if the biography is well written, I'm into it. But a lot of people would be like, fucking baseball, you got to be a baseball player.
Yeah.
So, or be a fan, which there are millions. So you're very lucky. And that means you get out on that length of rope. I don't know. I just made that up. That's terrible. Okay. I'm going to move on to the next question. What is your favorite book that has been turned into a movie or a TV show that you think they did a good job with it?
Oh, I have to say To Kill a Mockingbird. Love that movie.
Yes.
have it on DVD, watch it periodically. Yeah.
They did do a good job with that.
Yeah.
I agree. But that's back when they read the books before they decided to write.
And
I found out something, this podcast is turning all kinds of weird.
I love it.
I found out that people do not have to, was it Jonathan Mayberry? I think Jonathan Mayberry was talking about this, but that some people will opt and buy the book without reading the fucking book. Somebody will go, hey, you should do a movie about the book Denial.
Oh.
And they'll buy it. That's one of Sierra's books. And they'll just buy the rights to it. They won't actually read it, or somebody will tell them the synopsis and they'll go write the screenplay
without even ever reading it.
Without ever reading the book.
That's why you always make sure you have movie rights. Anybody listening, you have to make sure you have creative liberty rights with anything that you sell to anybody. Because I was actually, it's similar. I was watching the show Castle. Has anybody ever seen that?
Yeah.
Okay. So he went and yes. His, Nikki, he got turned into a movie. He went through and he was talking to the actress and he was like, so what'd you think of the book? And she's like, oh, I've never read it. I don't think the writers have either. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, how are you going to do justice to something if you haven't read it? But like Erica said, a lot of times they don't. They just see that something is popular and they go on like they're cheating on their 10th grade paper and they Google a synopsis of it and they write a movie.
And then off they go.
Yeah. And then that's how they end up not even coming close to anything in the plot lines because they didn't actually, and you can't get everything in a book in a movie. Like we get it. Yeah. But you can tell that they didn't, Silver Linings Playbook, read the actual fucking book before they decided to do this. So there's that, adding characters. Robert De Niro.
That was almost hostile. I feel like there was some volatile energy there that you just reined in.
Oh my God. It happens to be one of the ones that I just go, why? It didn't add to the movie. It didn't add to the story. I get the whole thing. But like Robert De Niro as the dad doesn't talk in the book at all. Oh. Not one word.
He talked a lot in the movie.
Yes. He talked a lot in the movie.
And I was like, what the fuck is happening? Anyway, okay, I can get very, very, okay, CR asked a question. This has become a very, very explosive podcast.
Like, combative? What are we working with
But we like it. We like it.
Yes.
Yeah. It's emotional.
That's what draws people in.
Yeah.
So, if you could be any main character of any book you've ever read, but you have to live their life story, what would it be? Or who would it be?
So I read a lot of books by this English UK author. Her name is Lucy Dillon. And she writes books with dogs in them. So, of course, I like that. And so she wrote this book called 100 Pieces of Me. And the main character was Gina. And Gina had a greyhound. So, of course, I loved her. But she broke up with her husband. And she had to take 100. She decided she was going to take 100 things out of the house when she moved to her new house, and it was just very poignant. And I would want to be her. I would want to take my love letters, my
husband's box of wine,
my husband's case, his refrigerator full of wine. I'd want to take some certain pieces of artwork, and and so the story's all about kind of backstories of why that was important to her and things like that. So that's who I would want to be. I know it's not some current famous, sexy person, but I would be her.
It doesn't have to be a current famous, sexy person.
So who would you want to be your sidekick?
Oh, you mean from a book?
Yeah.
Yep.
From a book. Boy, how about Holly Golightly from Breakfast at Tiffany's?
Oh.
How about if I had her for my sidekick? I'd be the emotional one, and she'd be like, "Come on, Joyce, you're divorced, and let's go to stay out all night in New York City."
Those are not bad choices. Those are not bad choices.
Staying out late in New York City isn't a bad choice. Do you know their crime rate?
Hey, I do hang out late in New York City when I'm there.
Yeah, you have to.
I am 5'3". Okay. Do you know what happens to people like me? I get ran over.
So you need to hang out with me when you're in New York City.
Or
I'm 6 feet tall. Most people are intimidated by me. High five, Joyce. There you go.
You go with the two of us and we can stay out all night.
Perfect.
Partying like rock stars. Do you listen to music when you write?
No, I'm a gotta have quiet kind of person. Yep.
Yeah, I can't. I know. I need it noisy.
I think that probably came from, when I worked at the physics laboratory, because I had to really concentrate and not screw up. And so we didn't listen to music there. And so it kind of carried over. And I like to listen to music, but just not when I'm writing.
That makes sense. Did your kids read your book?
My son read it, and I don't think my daughter read it. And a funny thing, because my daughter's an English teacher and she reads about, I don't know, 300 books a month or something, but I don't think, she read it yet. And my son just recently read it. So.
Did your daughter help you edit it all as she's an English teacher?
She did not, but my niece, who is an editor, she edited that book.
Oh, that's very sweet of your niece.
Yeah, it was. I'm very much a barterer, and I barter for things.
No, bartering is the way to go. Always exchange. That's what I say. Regardless if you have a family member or not, you have to exchange with them for doing work. I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and I was getting 2 of his books. It's Mark Muncy. He writes he goes down for things like Mothman. He looks into Mothman and where it came from and stuff, and like different cryptids and but true stories. And he's done a bunch in Florida, but he did one called Freaky or Creepy Appalachia. He's gonna kill me for not having that right. I think it was. Is it creepy or freaky?
Creepy. She's gonna
Google so that Mark can't kill me when I say this. But I was talking to him and I'm like, hey, because I have a friend that loves that. So I love his books, but I have a friend that is obsessed with these kind of tales. And she saw that it's getting released, but he had a couple of early copies. And I'm like, hey, can I get some copies? He's like, yeah, I'll just send them to you. And I'm like, no.
It's Erie.
Erie Appalachia.
That sounds better. Erie Appalachia.
I thought Erie was something else. Yeah, because he has an Erie, Florida. That's why
he does. Anyway, who knows? Because he is Erie, creepy, and freaky Florida, so I wasn't sure where he went with Appalachia. But he's that's coming out, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll send it." And I'm like, "The hell, you're just sending them to me? Like, I'm gonna buy them. So, how much are they?" It took literally like 5 minutes of arguing to get the price of the damn books. And I'm like, I'm just gonna look it up on Google. So just tell me how much it is.
Yeah, I like to barter for services. So my niece needed me to go with her to New York City so I went with her to New York City, and she said she'd pay all my expenses. And I said, no, I'll pay my own expenses, but will you edit my book? And so there you go. And we bartered.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like the bartering system. Chelsea.
I mean, my editor, I'm fairly certain, has heart attacks every day.
Yeah, no, well, there's that, but I was talking about questions.
It's your turn.
What is your favorite weird food combination?
Weird food combination?
Yes, that may be something you eat that not a lot of people do.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, again, my husband likes wine and he also likes to cook. So I don't cook, I eat. And I'll eat just about anything. But when I was a kid and I was growing up outside of Pittsburgh, that's where I grew up, they would put French fries on everything.
Oh, yeah. My husband's from Pittsburgh.
Okay. French fries on sandwiches. So when
salads.
I think weird on salads, when I think of weird food you know, that's what comes to mind is like, oh, you know, like growing up, people would dip French fries in their milkshakes, like
gravy. Yes, gravy fries.
Gravy, yeah, French fries with everything. So that's the weird combination. But I've eaten a lot of weird things, like
what?
Ostrich and yeah, it's very chalky. It tastes like chalky meat. What else? Octopus and all different kinds of seafood. And the only thing I draw the line at is lamb. I don't like to eat lamb, but pretty much anything else that he puts in front of me, I eat it.
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
What is on your anti-bucket list? Something you have done but will never do again.
Oh, anti-bucket list. Boy. We went to the Grand Canyon. I probably wouldn't do that again. But I was just thinking, some friends of ours just went to Peru to Machu Picchu or whatever that mountain is. That
Machu Picchu.
Yeah, in where you climb up to the top. And I was thinking, I don't want to do that. Like that was something that was on their bucket list. And that's like, I don't want to go to Antarctica. I don't want to go there. If I have a chance to go on vacation, I'm picking New York City. That's where I want to go. I want to see Broadway shows. I want to go to museums. I want to eat out at good restaurants. And so that's what I always pick. So I've done a couple of the things that like people say, like go to Vegas. I've done that. I wouldn't do it again.
There are shows in Vegas.
There are shows in Vegas.
I saw Rock of Ages in Vegas.
And
minus Tom Cruise.
And also good
and Mamma Mia.
Good restaurants in Vegas too. But if I'm going to pick
Broadway, I don't do musicals. I don't know.
Well, I saw The Glass Menagerie with Jessica Lange and Christian Slater on Broadway.
That would have been wonderful.
It was amazing. And the guy, Josh something, I forget his name, who was in Sweet Home Alabama and played her husband.
Oh, yes.
So all three of them were in Glass Menagerie.
Wow.
It was brilliant.
That would have
brilliant.
Been.
And I got to see Molly Ringwald
boring.
in Sweet Charity.
Huh? It's not boring.
It's so boring. First of all, nobody sings everywhere they go in their daily life, which makes
I do.
obsolete.
I think you're doing so much judgment. You have no idea. I was singing while getting a pedicure today, and they thought I was weird.
I thought this was no judgment.
Oh, no, we never said that.
No, that's it. There is completely a judgment zone here. Welcome to having CR as a co-host.
Yeah. So my husband loves musicals. Corey absolutely loves them. He made me sit one day and watch Phantom of the Opera, and I swear to Jesus, God, whoever, I was going to fucking kill myself. If I had to sit through one more song, I was I'm not that person. I can't do it. And he's like, isn't it amazing? And I'm like, no, no, it's not. He was like, But it was one of those weird things where like I tell them all the time, if you want to watch it, cool. Just let me know. And I will plan my day accordingly.
And you'll
I will go out. I will do something else. It's just, it's not for me. I can only, and it's 4 hours long. Okay.
It is
like,
long. I love Rent.
A tragic number of emotions regarding this musical.
I can't do musicals. It makes me uncomfortable.
It's a very
Rent? Weird.
Rent is fabulous. No. Oh, come on.
I think it comes from, when I was in like 3rd grade, I had a teacher who was obsessed with musicals. I think I watched West Side Story once a week for my entire school year. And it just killed me. And it was like, we did Cats and Rent. Like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
You don't walk around.
Yeah. Like this, starting gang fights for no reason over a chick. Like, empires fall for girls. Leave girls alone. Just walk away. Like, I can't do it. No.
That's my favorite with the Romeo and Juliet. It's not a romance.
It's not.
It's what is it? A 13 and a 14-year-old getting together and 6 people die over 3 days. Like, that's not a romance.
It's a teenage meltdown is what it is. Like, you have hormones going everywhere and all you really want to do is get laid. And instead you massacre people.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to move on to another question.
Okay.
Very
That's what we're going to do. And I'm going to steal one of Chelsea's questions because it's my podcast. I can do what I want. So what supernatural creature would you be?
Oh my gosh. Supernatural creature. That's a good one. Because I don't even know. Like a dragon or a harpy or something like that.
If you're good,
those are so different.
Yeah, but which kind of dragon or which kind of harpy would you be? There's so many different options.
See, boy, I don't even know. I couldn't even pick one.
Okay, so now I have to move on.
Pick one for me that you think, now that you know me. Physicist. Let's see. I could maybe do some kinds of spells. I don't know. Maybe dog trainer.
A druid.
Oh. Yeah, I was gonna say druid, elemental. You would have to be something like that, something more down to earth.
Okay.
Yeah. A druid is they tend to have, well, at least in the fantastical realms, they tend to be one with nature. The animals kind of like that whole vibe. They can have animal companions, but they tend to work nature spells.
Oh, okay.
And they tend to be healers.
Oh.
I know you don't like that part because you're cryogenically freeze people, but you could at least use your powers for evil then.
Oh, yeah.
Or you could be a necromancer. I mean, I suppose that's another option for you.
No, I think the druid's better.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of animals in the necromancy field because, you end up. Did CR freeze?
Yeah.
Because she's got kind of a look on her face of, well, hopefully she'll come back in here in a second. You gotta love the internet. Oh, yep, she's gonna have to bounce back in. Yeah, she'll bounce back in. It's the internet. That's how that happens. Or I horribly offended her with my druid comment, one of the two, but it's fine either way. So what do you read? What do you like to read?
I love to read stories about artists and art, kind of like The Girl with the Pearl Earring, Tracy Chevalier, where she goes and examines Vermeer's life based on this one painting. And there's another author, Susan Vreeland. She's dead now, but she used to write about, like, she wrote a book called The Boating Party, which was about Renoir and when he painted The Boating Party and what was going on in his life and at the time that he wrote it. And she wrote Hyacinth Blue, which was also about Vermeer. I just think it's just cool to take those historical people and then find some mechanism to kind of build the story around.
That makes sense. Now that you're retired and probably have way more time for reading, do you have guilty pleasure reading, meaning stuff that is just absolutely not requiring you to overthink things?
Not really, because again, I told you I'm in this book club, so we read one book every month, and they pick it. Well, we vote on it, but usually, it's so I get a lot of different kind of books then, and so I don't, I pick the historical fiction ones that I want to read, and stick with those.
That makes sense. Well, it turns out CR, for the record's internet crashed. So that's why she departed our lovely podcast. So let me think of the great, if you found $1 million, just found it, you're walking through the forest for some reason, although, because you're a druid, and you came upon, this is one of her questions, and I'm sure I'm asking it horribly. Ooh, I love drinking. What would you do?
I have actually thought about this, because I do walk my dog every day, and I walk him all over the place. And I always think, what if I came on a bag of money, or some drug dealer that stashed some money somewhere, and I just happened to come upon it. I would probably keep it.
I don't think that's a bad option. I mean, I think depending on the situation, it's one thing if you watch somebody drop their wallet and you take the money out of it.
Yeah.
But if you're in the middle of nowhere and so there's just a bag of cash, more than likely, it's been gained through nefarious purposes. And we're keeping it. Yeah, no, I would. What would you do with it?
And I'd probably do something for my kids with it, even though, I'd probably help them buy a house or something if I had that much money.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. I like it. Well, Joyce, you have been an absolute delight to have on this podcast. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been an enjoyable evening.
I am so glad. Hold up your book one more time and do some shameless self-promotion.
Okay, so it's Joe Harris, The Moon, and you can get it on my website, www.joyceamiller.com. You have to use the A because there's another Joyce Miller. So it's joyceamiller.com, and it's also available wherever you buy books. Any indie bookstore can order it. And it's at all the big guys too. And I also have a memoir coming out in June called Look, You're Dancing.
I cannot wait. Dog dancing. I swear, I'm really excited about that book. Dog dancing. I learned so many things today on the podcast. You have been so much fun. This has been Drinking with Authors Literary Briefs. I've been your host, Erica Lance. Our sponsor is Skunk Brothers Spirits. DWA10 is the coupon code. Please hit like and subscribe. Oh my God, I remembered that finally. I never say that. Okay. And my co-host, until her internet died, was CR Rice. I appreciate her. And she's presently cursing at the interwebs. And our amazing guest has been Joyce A. Miller. And we will see you guys next time.